Do you ever get up from your chair and you walk into another room to get something or to do something, and then you get to that other room and you look around and you can't remember what you came into the room to do? And then you ask yourself, is this menopause? Or is this widow's fog? Or am I just going nuts? In this video, I will explore some of the different thoughts and feelings that come with menopause or widow's fog, how to know which is which, and what are some of the different things that I did in order to move through the journey with a little more grace and ease than I think it would have otherwise, what I otherwise would have experienced. I am not a medical professional. I am just someone who has experienced both, and right now, I am living a wonderful life. My husband did pass away 2 years ago. And right after he passed away, I made a decision to sell everything I own. I didn't want to live in this big house that we occupied together with all of the memories. We had a lot of timeshare points. And so for the last 10 months, I have been traveling around the world. And as I bring you different information on my journey through grief, my travels around the world, I do have a home-based business that I can work from anywhere. And I like to share with you how you might be able to earn income from home as well. And if any of this interests you, I invite you to hit that subscribe button, like this video, and leave any comments below. So there are a lot of similarities between menopause brain, or that menopause fogginess, and widow's fog. And some of those similarities are forgetfulness. Like, you walk into the room, you can't remember why you came in there. I've left stuff on the stove and walked away and totally forgot about it. And there's just so many things. I'll think that I'm going to remember to do something and I don't remember it. So forgetfulness is huge, and it affects both. The next thing is the inability to maintain focus or maintain an idea. And this could be if you're writing an email or you're balancing a checkbook or even watching a movie. Like, I couldn't even sit through a whole movie without my mind wandering, and then I'd forget what I had just watched in the movie and I had to back it up. And so the inability to focus on anything is common between the two. The next thing is that feeling of frustration and overwhelm. And it might be because we can't hold a thought or we can't remember anything. It's just so much easier for us to feel like, oh my gosh, there's just so much coming at me. It's so hard to figure it all out, keep it organized, keep it straight. And so that feeling of overwhelm or feeling out of control is present with both of them. And then finally, the inability to really control our emotions. And I'll never forget when I was first going through menopause, I'm not somebody who easily cries. And I remember going to an event where they said the Pledge of Allegiance from stage, and it just hit me with so much emotion that my eyes were welling up and I'm crying. Like, I've heard this thousands of times in my life. Why is it like so emotional right now? And then, of course, when you have a loved one who passes, when your partner passes, there's emotion that just overcomes you, and you never know when it's going to happen or what's going to trigger it. When John passed away, one of the things I did was I wanted to, as much as I could, control the things that would trigger me emotionally. So I was pretty quick to get rid of his car because I didn't want to open the garage and see his car and be reminded that he's not here to drive it. I didn't want to walk into a closet full of his clothes knowing that he was never going to wear them again. And so I very quickly got rid of all of the triggers that I knew were triggers. But even with that, you just never know when a photograph is going to pop up in the phone, or a song is going to come on the radio, or somebody's going to say something, or just your own thoughts take you to a place where your emotions are triggered. And so with both menopause and widow's fog, the emotions can be pretty uncontrollable at times. In just a minute, I'm going to share all of the different things that I did to help me through this journey. And hopefully you can take away a few nuggets that maybe can help you in your journey. Just know that these things can help you whether it's one, the other, and heaven forbid you're dealing with both. If you are dealing with both and you're having those moments of forgetfulness, or you're having that fuzzy brain and you're thinking to yourself, is this menopause or is this widow's fog? Here's the thing, it doesn't matter. It simply doesn't matter. It doesn't require us to figure out which is which. They just are what they are, and it's better to move forward and deal with how we're going to get through whatever it is, rather than ruminating on what this is. And so, regardless of what is causing it, here's a few things to consider. First of all, number one, if what you're feeling is beyond normal, if you're not able to function, or if you just can't pull yourself out of it, seek the help of medical professionals. Maybe there is something more to this that they can help you with. If everything is okay medically, then here's some other things to be aware of. First of all, we have to take care of our health. So, number one, make sure you're drinking enough water. And this goes for everybody. But I remember when my neighbors came over after John passed away, I'm so grateful for what the wife had said to me. She said, Debbie, you're not going to feel like eating at all, but it is important that you drink water. And I'm glad she gave me that reminder, because honestly, I didn't feel like doing anything. I didn't want to drink water. I didn't want to eat. I didn't even want to get out of bed. I didn't want to function. And so I'm grateful that she gave me that reminder. And so make sure that you're drinking water. And a healthy diet is really important. And I know as you're watching this, you might be vegetarian, you may follow a Mediterranean or a keto diet, whatever it is that you adhere to. Try to stick to that diet as best you can. But whatever you do, eliminate the simple carbs, the sugars. That quite often can cause a lot of highs and lows. And so watch what you're eating. And I know if you are newly widowed, the thought of food, you just don't want it at all. And it might be a couple weeks to a couple months before you start eating regular again. If you're anything like me, once you did start eating, then it was like I couldn't stop. And so then I had to be really conscientious of what it was that I was eating. So food is very important. Your diet is very important. The next thing is exercise. Get your body moving. And I had to force myself to go outside and take a walk around the neighborhood. And it did two things. It got my body moving, and it also, brought oxygen into my lungs. And that helped with some of the mental clarity. I didn't feel like workouts at the gym, but I did go to relaxation yoga. The lights were dim and it was soft music, and it's kind of where my mind felt most comfortable right after John passed away. And I knew that it was getting me moving, and I was breathing, deep breaths and getting good oxygen into my system. So make sure that you are exercising with whatever you're going through. And lastly, make sure you're getting good sleep. when I when I first started going through menopause, I'm like, how am I supposed to sleep through the night? I have to get up to go to the bathroom several times through the night. And then when I wake up, my t-shirt is soaked because I've got night sweats. And so sleep was a challenge way back when I was going through menopause. And then after John passed away, I just couldn't shut my brain off. And I just didn't want to sleep. I'd look over and he's not in the bed next to me. And it was just really hard. One of the things that I do and have been doing actually for many years to get to sleep is I listen to sleep hypnosis at night. And there is somebody on YouTube that I like to follow. There are several, so you can pick whatever is your favorite. But I listen to someone named Michael Seeley. And when you go to his channel, his YouTube channel, he has all these different topics, whether you want to quit smoking or lose weight, or you want more confidence, or you're not feeling well, whatever it is that you might be struggling with or wanting to have more of in a beneficial sort of way. He has all these different topics. And every single night, I always go to sleep to Michael Seeley. For one thing, I can't stay awake. When he starts talking, he's got this incredible accent, and just with the words he says, I'm usually out within about 5 minutes. And I know that my subconscious mind is still hearing what he is saying. And by the way, stay away from negative stuff before you go to sleep. Don't be watching scary movies or the news or anything like that. Try to keep your thoughts good and neutral as you're getting ready for bed. And then if it helps you to do a sleep hypnosis, that's one of the things that helps me a lot to be able to get good sleep. So now that we've talked about the body, let's talk about the mind. First of all, give yourself grace. It is what it is, and it's something that is inevitable. It's temporary. It's not going to last forever. And so as you're going through it, just give yourself grace and know that this is just a process or a journey that you're on. Learn to laugh at some of the things that you do in this mental fog that you're going through, and always look to gratitude. Instead of focusing on the negative thoughts or the past thoughts or ruminating on negative stuff, start to list what you're grateful for. And if you are a widow, you're going to have to write your next chapter, whether you want to or not. And it's up to you whether you choose to do that sooner rather than later. And so start to dream again. Start to think about where you want to be, what you want to accomplish, and what it might take to get there. So anytime you're experiencing negative thoughts, frustrating thoughts, overwhelming thoughts, always go to gratitude. What am I grateful for? And where do I want to be in the future? And start to create your plan to get there and the action steps to get there. You might want to let your friends and your family who are in your inner circle also know what you're going through. They may not know the effects that go with either menopause or widow's fog or widow's brain. They may not know how it can affect people, and they might be looking at you like, her memory's sure getting bad. I better have her checked out. If you get some resources, there are tons of articles, tons of blog posts, various things written on these subjects. If you want to just share that with them, just so that they know that it's a normal thing that you're going through and they can laugh alongside you. They can also help you by giving you reminders, giving you a friendly phone call to remind you of something. And they can also extend grace as you're going through this time in your life. Get used to making lists. Get used to writing things down. I used to be someone who could remember a lot of things. When I got up in the morning, I knew that, okay, these are the different things that I'm going to have done today. And I didn't write them down. And more often than not, I could remember them all. I could typically remember appointments. I didn't always write them down. I realized my brain is shot. There is no way I'm going to remember all of this stuff. So right after John passed away, I started a notebook and I took copious notes with every conversation I had, every phone call I made, every person I talked to, the outcome, when I needed to follow up. I would make to-do lists every day, and then I would make my to-do list of what I needed to do the following day. And I filled notebooks full of stuff because I couldn't remember anything. And I relied heavily on these notes. I would put sticky notes on my bathroom mirror in the kitchen just to remind me of different things. So write down whatever it is that you don't want to forget. Write it down in a place where you're going to refer back to it all the time. Write it down in a place where you know you will see it. And the other thing is set reminders for yourself, whether you have a written calendar that you refer to every day. For me, my calendar is in my phone, and I had to be very aware of making sure everything was in my calendar, because I wouldn't remember. I wouldn't remember appointments. I wouldn't remember to call someone back. I wouldn't remember to follow up on something. I wouldn't remember if there was a call I wanted to make. I might think about it today, but it was after hours. There's no way I was going to remember it the following morning. And so I got really good and used to setting reminders for myself in the morning. I would set alarms throughout the day so that my alarm would go off before I needed to make a call or do an activity or whatever. So make sure you're writing things down and setting up reminders. Do not rely on your memory, because it's not the best that it can be right now. And you don't want to create any more frustration or overwhelm or any of that stuff. So just write it down and just get in the habit of looking back at your notes and all of your reminders. I hope you've gotten a few nuggets from this. If there's anything that I've missed, if there's anything that has worked for you, please drop it in the comments. Let's share throughout this community and help each other as we go through this journey. Again, hit that subscribe button so you'll be alerted next time I post a video. And like this video if you got value, and let's go travel the world.